I'm not even completely sure what we're doing.
Tor, I'm also not sure what we're doing.
I definitely did tell Zach that I had work at this time. that is in the group chat.
We're here. We're here, folks. You know what? We're gonna clear our. I need to do this. Clear my mind. Clear my heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Focus on breath. Now we're here, Tor. I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, same here. I am driving right now. I'm about to pull an illegal U-turn.
I wonder if YouTube does YouTube care about like dash cams like this?
We're
kind of breaking ground.
I did just like literally 5 seconds ago. I was listening to something that was like live streamers getting arrested, and it's like this fucking legend from Florida. This like drunk college girl like live streamed herself drunk driving, and and, like running over a street. Like the way they found her was that she ran over a street sign. And they sent that to the cops. And the cops like triangulated where she was from that.
Well, yeah. If you're also live streaming it, see, here's your loophole, Tor. If you get pulled over, we're technically just recording, not live streaming.
Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure video is like the line that they they don't want you watching videos. I found that out because I was listening to something on YouTube and I got pulled over, and it was just like a missing headlight, but like they were like, "Are you watching TV?" And I'm like, kind of. I just showed them. It was like just like a podcast. Like if there wasn't any moving parts. It's like, well, that still counts. But I see what you mean. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But, so you had a back and forth with the officer.
I have a very good repartee with the armed forces.
Yes.
The police armed forces. They're armed and they're forces.
That's true. Ontologically correct.
I think they count. They're part of. They're not part of the military, but they're adjacent. Hold on, I'm gonna experiment with something because I don't have any AC right now. Is that super distracting? Hearing that?
No, I can't even hear it. I think StreamYard is blocking it out.
Perfect. Okay, good. I was worried that my AC was gonna cause something, but.
Okay, I'm hearing a little hum now, but that's okay.
That's my insanely noisy car.
Yeah, our listeners can deal with it, and you know what, listeners, you also should be viewers. You also should be. We're now visual.
We are visual. We have entered the third dimension. Holy shit! A guy just flew past me at like 80 miles per hour. I'm not even on the highway. I mean, speed limit is 55 miles an hour. You ever know, like when one can close past you, like there's always like 3 other cars that like blow past you too, and you're like, I wonder if they're having I wonder if there's like this is like
the street race.
Fast and Furious in Minnesota, 35.
Yeah, they're filming Fast 11 in Minnesota. That would make sense. We need the Midwest Toretto family line.
So like, yeah, it's kind of it's a globe hopping thriller, right? But then do they ever just like hang out in like Iowa at all or anything? I feel like
there's not a lot of Midwest exposure. Tor, your camera is now fully dashboard. And honestly, if we could get the phone near your voice, near your mouth, maybe that would be better.
Okay, hold on. I'll have a chance to readjust.
I need to also figure out what I'm gonna do when you go in the store. If it's just me, I just got to riff off the top, I guess.
Well, I'll be well, fuck it, because I can just walk in with it. It'll be fast. Oh shit. No, but yeah, dude, that lady that live streamed herself drunk driving is just legendary. My hat goes off to her. She didn't kill anyone, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's the important part. As long as you're not like endangering people, that's what I care about.
You just destroyed I say that as I'm live streaming myself. No, it's yeah. She killed a stop sign or two, but that's just that's humor. That's humor.
Yeah. If you're messing up private property, that's okay. In the scheme of, here we go. All right, here we go.
Okay, so wait, Zach is supposed to be here, right? Oh, he's here. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
At long last, the prodigal son.
There. All right, I'll be right back.
Hello?
You can hear us.
You guys just hang out here.
We're kind of very soft. Keep talking.
I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all.
Very softly, it sounds like.
I can hear you better now. Yes. You can't hear me?
I gotta turn up the. Oh wait, I wonder if it's just.
Folks, we're doing the dang thing. I love you, Mana. Ep 238.
So the mic.
We're on YouTube now. Hi, Zach. Here, let's change this up. Let's.
Is that better volume wise?
Yes. Can you hear now? Can you hear? Can you?
Wait.
No.
Sorry. Yes. Wait, I can't hear you. Can you hear us?
You can't hear me. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Is the volume good?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go find some headphones. One sec. Be right back.
Okay. Folks, it's just me now. I'm looking at Zach.
Perfect show.
We're a perfect show.
Execution. I'm crushing it.
Zach's once again crushing it. We can't hear each other, but we're just talking to each other across.
It's great because I literally cannot hear criticism right now.
Thousands of miles between us.
Uh-huh.
Actually, Zacky's on the. Actually, it's not that many.
Your knee that you fucked up.
Zach's on the East Coast. I'm on the West.
We're
here
was
now.
A terrible bike accident.
What?
A life-threatening bike accident.
It's Tor.
It's been a vibe.
Tor, they can't hear us. So it's kind of been.
They can't hear us. Oh, we're in
we can hear them. It's some sort of purgatory.
Okay. Is this mic working? Check.
Yeah.
Test.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me now? Is this?
Yes, I can hear you,
Is that
Tor.
better? Okay.
That's
just hearing
good.
me through. Wait, Zach, talk.
Hello, test.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're both on.
Okay, great.
Okay, we're both on.
Okay, let's see if Google Maps works with this interface.
This is insane.
I hope the Domino's app doesn't screw with anyone.
This is awesome.
Hi, Tor.
Can you guys hear us now?
Get in frames, Sitrick.
I can't see you right now. Hold on. I'm in a different app.
This is like split weird as hell.
Yeah, there we go.
Here, how about this? How's that?
It's good. We love it.
Right.
Here you go, Tor.
StreamYards is very advanced technology.
I mean, it kind of is.
Where is?
It's kind of like, I don't know, faux pro. It's very beginner, but it's, I think, what we need, or it's what we can handle, to be honest.
It's good
It's
enough.
good.
It's good enough.
It's good enough.
Zach, why have you summoned me? Zach, why have I been summoned? What are we talking about? Oh, David, right. It's really good to see you. Sorry. I'm currently at work.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
How's that going?
Well, I did just get a $6 tip. So
Okay.
I'm pretty happy about that. It's,
Tight.
Pretty good.
Tight.
it's a wonderful life. Back in the
it says live. Are we streaming this? Is there
We're streaming this to thousands of viewers right now.
Tight. Welcome to I Love You Mana, my favorite Flesh and Blood podcast.
Well, there you go. That's the topic of the day, right?
I mean, I guess so. Zach, in this chaos, you found a hole. Run through it, buddy. Do it.
So, okay. On this episode, we are joined. So, I Love You Mana is a podcast. It's about card games. It's about hobbies. It's about hanging out with buddies. This week, we're hanging out with Minneapolis, now New York comedian, our friend, David Sitrick.
Hello.
And David is like notable. If you remember, like the early days of I Love You Mana, we referred to David as being like the what was the freaking Valve digital card game that?
Oh yeah, I played a lot of Artifact.
Yeah,
Right.
Artifact.
Now
back in the
defunct.
day. David was the Artifact evangelist.
R.I.P. It's still like maybe my favorite card game I've ever played.
Insane, a completely inscrutable game to
Was
most people.
that physical or was it a?
No, it was a digital. It was based on the Valve MOBA called Defense of the Ancients 2, Dota 2.
Dota 2.
Wait, it was based on
and-
Dota?
Wait, what's that, Tor?
It was based on Dota?
It was based on Dota, yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they should have led with that. Why did they?
Oh, they did. It
They
was like
probably
all
could-
over
they
the
was
marketing.
probably-
It was actually part
Oh,
of
okay.
why people were so pissed off about it, because like Valve made a big announcement about a new game coming, and everybody was like, "Oh, is this Dota 3? Is this Half-Life 3?" And it turns out it was just a card game based on Dota.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And people were pretty burnt out by like Hearthstone at this, so like it was poor timing.
It was not free to play. It was like $20,
Ooh.
and then they charged you for packs afterwards. The economy
that's
of it was
tough.
not great.
That's tough.
It did not lead with its best foot forward.
But mechanically, I thought it was fascinating, and it was super fun to play. But
And perhaps notably for what we're gonna get to, you had there's a lot of stuff you got to be on top of. But in the following years, so Dota the Dota 2 card game didn't take off. But in like when did Flesh and Blood start?
2019, I believe the first set was released.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well this game is like taken the world by storm. It's kind of like the new kid on the block.
It's the fourth biggest card game in the world after Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon.
That's crazy
Okay.
though.
How what are the numbers though? Like, is it a huge?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know it's the fourth biggest, and it's actually like contested as the fourth biggest. Like if you talk to like the wrong Digimon person, they'll be like, "Actually, it's Digimon. Actually, it's One Piece. Actually, it's
yeah." That's
fucking
why I ask. Is it
Sword
like,
Art Online, the card game."
But like people aren't like playing those games at tournaments. People are not going to like, weekly events to play
Sure.
those games.
I was just at the Flesh and Blood Pro Tour in Baltimore, and the Pro Tour had, I want to say, 350 people playing in it, and then they had an open tournament called a Calling that had 1,000 people playing in it as well. It was like, and that was like the biggest. The Calling was like the single biggest Flesh and Blood tournament that they've had yet so far.
Can we turn the mic up?
Turn the mic up. Yeah.
Turn Zach up. Sorry.
Turn
Thank you.
Zach
Sorry,
up.
I was trying to be discreet.
But like I'm
here we
just
are.
saying that those numbers are like Magic.
There we
at its
go.
peak
That's nice.
numbers, you know, like
Tight.
those are not rookie numbers.
Is Zach
Yeah, those
distorted now?
aren't rookie numbers. Yeah, Zach is good now.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
we're getting. Let me. I can. I think
We're getting
I
a little
mute
bit from.
Tor.
We're getting a little bit. From
Yeah.
Tor.
Lean back.
Okay,
I muted Tor.
I'm-
I think we're good. I can mute Tor from my end.
Okay, I want to make sure it's not us because I have your audio coming in through my laptop, so it could be getting some
Okay.
echo off of that.
Okay. I think we're good. We're G.
Okay.
We're now okay. This is a bad view. I'm trying to
This is
figure out.
Tor. Watching Tor's cam is like watching a Kubrick film right now. Like, just inexplicably
do this
staring at
more.
a wall. Like,
It brings me so much joy. Okay, so what? Sorry, I'm switching horribly right now. What? So what are we talking about today? Zach, do you have
I
like
don't know.
an
I've
agenda?
played a grand total of like 2 hours of Magic the Gathering in my entire life. So
Really?
But that's okay. Here's the thing is, everyone knows that I Love You Mana is a podcast exclusively about Magic the Gathering. There isn't one single second of an episode where we're not tying it into hardcore spell slinging conversation. Is Tor okay? Did he crash?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm like using I can't open it in Chrome, so I was using like Chrome via Twitter, and I accidentally exited out.
You're in Chrome from Twitter.
Okay, what you need to know, David, is that actually Micah and we haven't seen like Tor's face for like a good month and a half, I want to say.
Tor looks like no one's seen
Tor
his
looks
face for
great.
like 2 years.
I'm hermit
He's
maxing.
home out in there. But what's funny, Tor, is that if you walk down the streets of Bushwick, people would be like, "Yeah, he's from here."
I feel like I'd give off that like, is he like a secret millionaire or is he just a homeless guy?
Yeah,
That's like
sure.
the vibe I kind of would give off.
That's
Right.
that's
That's a
that's the
fine
kind
line.
of sweet spot that we expect from
Yeah.
the True Detective season 1 villain that you're repping
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, dude. No, that guy that says he wants to like do nasty things to Matthew McConaughey's face, like that's me. I've never felt more represented than that. I don't want to be like the I don't want to be like the pedophile guy, but I'd be happy to be like the meth dealer that's like messed up in the head.
Oh, I see. All right. You want the guy that tells the time is a flat circle guy. That's who you want to be.
Yeah.
I thought that was McConaughey.
No, that one of the villains says that to Matthew McConaughey. That's where he
Yeah.
gets
Oh,
it from.
does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
The Yellow King.
He's
bro.
like we've been here before. Time is a flat circle.
Right before Woody pops him in the head. I
Yep,
think.
exactly.
Okay.
One of my favorite seasons ever.
I mean,
Oh, it's great.
I mean, the other seasons were not good, right? That's the reputation.
Well, there's only been 2 seasons, right? There wasn't a season 3 of it, was there?
There
I
was a
think there
season
was a
3
season 3.
with
I
Mahershala.
don't think anyone watched it.
That's straight to DVD ass shit.
Yeah, well, it didn't have Woody Harrelson. It didn't have Matthew McConaughey.
What the fuck? Who was in season 3?
It was like an
Mahershala.
anthology show.
It was the
Each
two guys
season
that were
was completely different.
interrogating Matthew McConaughey, right?
No, I know, but I know season 2 was like Colin Farrell and Rachel McAdams and someone else I can't remember right now.
Vince
Who the fuck
Vaughn.
was in season 3?
Okay. Here's something we can do.
All right,
Something
pull that
we
up.
can
Who was
do.
in True Detective?
Okay,
We
so
love
Flesh
prep.
and Blood is a very different game than Magic the Gathering. Okay, True Detective.
Yeah.
Okay, IMBD. I hate how Google like hides
There's a new
IMBD.
season that's
Jodie
coming out.
Foster?
Yeah, season 4.
Oh, Vince Vaughn. Yeah, okay.
Vince Vaughn is season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like how it's not letting me. This is just
Like, filter
everyone
by
together.
season. The Penguin was in it.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
Oh,
Taylor Kitsch.
season 3 was the Mahershala Ali season. I do remember vaguely about this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Steven Dorff. He was the other guy.
Blades Steven Dorff.
Correct. Yes. Of Blade fame.
Blades Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Describe every part of the Blade franchise. Every actor is now Blades, that actor's name.
I mean, hey, that's
Blades,
already the case in my Rolodex door. I don't know about you.
Wait, okay.
I keep a
when you-
Rolodex still.
Of Minneapolis comedians. Oh, and actors.
Yeah. It was both.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone should have 2 Rolodexes.
Yeah.
It's their local comedian and Rolodex.
Yeah.
And then the actors that are on True Detective.
Every
Wait,
card
so-
is covered in jizz. I don't know.
God.
I love Rolodex as like one of those. What is it? Anachronism. It's like we know what
Yeah.
it means.
It's
but
one
like,
of those things that like a boomer would be like, you kids don't even know what a Rolodex is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like we know, millennials know, but like Gen Z, absolutely not. Zoomers.
Maybe they've seen on Mad Men or something.
Well, I mean, what's funny is that like even if you don't, I feel like even if you don't know what a Rolodex is, if you hear the term Rolodex, you know exactly what it is. I feel like it sounds like exactly the thing that it is.
It's an analog contacts list, I guess.
Yeah.
And
All right,
it's
I'll
a
be right
dex
back.
that you roll through.
Okay. Bye, Tor.
Oh my god.
Okay. Bye, Tor. So,
Tor Uggen,
Fab.
both hot and ready.
Yeah. And when willing to serve.
Covered in pepperoni.
Oh my god. Okay, so Flesh and Blood, huh? It's a fun game.
Flesh and Blood in this economy?
I'm very bad at Flesh and Blood. It
You've
takes a
played
long
it
time.
once.
It takes a long time to kind of get right. It's very different than Magic. Do you want to like try to explain a little bit?
Sure. So one of the things I've been talking to, like, I saw this video came out that a bunch of Flesh and Blood people are making a big deal out of in the past like week or so about how Flesh and Blood is actually a fighting game in like a video game fighting game in trading card game form.
Okay.
Because it is very much about like swings in aggression and mix-ups and taking damage to return damage and understanding like and things like zoning and like
So when he says fighting games, talking like Street Fighter.
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of and James White, like the creator of Flesh and Blood, saw this video and was like, yes, absolutely. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat are like huge influences for me. And like I absolutely was thinking about this to some extent while I was putting the game together. So Flesh and Blood is a trading card game made by a New Zealand company called Legend Story Studios, headed by this New Zealander James White, who worked. I'm not clear on what his role was, but he worked in TCGs for like forever. And he was the game came about because he was really frustrated at how trading card games were all going online, like Magic Arena was something that he like was really frustrated about because he felt the sense of loss about how like people weren't playing paper card games in person anymore. So there was that, and then also like wanting to make a game that had less variance and was more skill based than something like Magic, where like, okay, if you don't draw your lands, you're fucked.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did
the
you hear
shade,
that?
Shade starts early with Flesh and Blood.
Shade. Oh my god. Did you hear
Well,
that,
but
LSB?
this is so one of the things that's happening right now is a lot of like competitive Magic players are switching over to Flesh and Blood, and the thing that they are saying that they like about the game is the fact that they feel like there's less variance to it.
Yeah.
Where you like because like Flesh and Blood is a game where in most games you'll see your entire deck. Where you don't have separate resources from your attack cards. Every card is both attack, defense, and a resource card. My understanding is like and Zach even said this when we were drafting the other night, was that it feels a lot more like the better player in every matchup is more likely to win than in Magic.
Probably, yeah. But
Wow.
also, and I totally agree with that just from my brief exposure to the game. But it's also a game where, like, imagine, like, in Magic, there's such a thing as a split card, right? Like a card that does two very different things in different, like, contexts, right? Flesh and Blood is a game where, like, every single card in your deck is a split card. Everything is doing multiple things. Each card is a resource. So it's a way you can pay for stuff, or it's an attack, or it's a defense, or it has an effect, right? And it usually is like, sometimes it's only two, but oftentimes it's three things at once, right? Which leads to a lot of like, you have 4-card hands, but like what you can do with that 4-card hand, the amount of choices you have is pretty large.
And the fact that it is, so one of the other differences is that it's in the turns are asymmetrical. So it's not like in other card games, you have your turn, both players will draw up at the same time, and you'll play out your turn. In Flesh and Blood, you take your turn. Your opponent has cards in their hand. They defend with those cards. Your turn ends, you draw up, but your opponent does not draw up. They have to take their turn with the remaining cards that they haven't defended with during your turn. And then at the end of their turn, they draw up. And so like there's like that also contributes to sort of like the fighting game element of it too, because you're constantly managing like, okay, how much do I want to block with versus how much I want to save for my attack and things like that.
Yeah, so like tempo is a really big thing, and it operates a little bit differently than Magic, right? Where oftentimes in the early turns of Magic, you want to like just soak up some damage, maybe not block, in order to set up your own resources or whatever. Whereas in Flesh and Blood, you're thinking about like, okay, you're thinking about what you're capable of doing on your turn, and also how much like tempo you lose if you just eat up damage. Because often you can be put into situations very quickly where, like, because you took damage early on, you now have to throw away moral resources later on, and then you can just never get back on the offensive.
Yeah, it rules. It's great. Anyway,
okay,
that's
Anyway,
yeah. I mean,
can shut up and let other
this
people
is
talk.
it's very different. That's all.
Zach, is it, for my smooth brain, is it closer to Marvel Snap? It sounds like a little more tempo, like.
So Snap
turns
also
weaving
does a
into
good
each
job
other.
of being like a very different card game, but it's not like Snap is like trying to make things simpler. It's trying to like, it makes things easy. Like Snap is a game where you're trying to plan out the progression of the game from turn 1 or 2, right? You know where the game's going to go. In Flesh and Blood, things are going to change every
I can't.
you draw.
I can't focus on what you're saying, and
because of Tor.
Because of Tor.
What? I'm sorry. I can't just hold my phone right up to my face when I'm driving.
For the listener at home, Zach is just explaining all this, and Tor is just cruising, arm out the window, looking like it's fucking Route 66, and he's like making time talking on the CB to Billy Bob down in Amarillo.
Tor, you gotta tell him about the hat, the Stranger Things hat.
Is that still the Stranger?
No, it's just a normal hat. It's just dumb.
Okay, yeah,
they won't let me wear the Stranger Things hat anymore, which would have been apt because it's actually a trucker's hat. But no, that's not part of our uniform anymore because it's we're no longer offering mind ordering. I don't even know what mind ordering was. People would be like, "Oh, it's so cool what you're doing mind ordering," and I'd be like, "Yeah, it is." I don't know what it is. I don't even know.
Mind ordering?
I don't know what our promotions are.
I need to know what mind ordering is.
I think it was a gimmick that let you, like, if strap into something and let you order pizza with your mind.
Tor, was this like? Was this a conversation your manager had with you? Like the manager's like, "Well, I have this giant of a man who refuses to not wear the Stranger Things trucker hat. Can you advise me?"
I put them in a situation where they had to special order me an extra large hat.
It's
great. I had to go all the way to
mind ordering. It's more like body ordering.
Okay, wait. So, Sitrick, when you described us as a Flesh and Blood podcast, I didn't know you were talking about the card game. In that, so like the term Flesh and Blood podcast has been rattling around in my brain for the past half hour. I am so fascinated by the idea. I think we should be a Flesh and Blood podcast. We're a podcast of flesh and blood.
This is what I've been telling Lester, is that we got to start recording in person. We get that flesh and blood aspect back.
I don't know. I'm saving so much money on gas recording remotely.
And there's no better way to get you back in the flesh and blood than playing a card game whose whole ethos is based around getting people together, playing games, going on road trips, seeing the world.
Wow. I think that very much is what that pitch is very much like the old early days of Magic Pro Tour, right? Like the old tagline for the Magic Pro Tour was "Play the game, see the world."
That is literally something James White has said as like the driving ethos of Flesh and Blood.
So like it seems like he's very
I knew that. I did not realize that originated in Magic. That's just a thing people say in Fab all the time.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to realize that promise. Promise that Magic has like kind of openly said that that era's over,
Because my understanding is that like really at this point, as far as like live Magic, it's just Commander now, right?
That's not really true. It's
Standard is dwindling.
It's true. But like they started in this past year, so 2022 they had the first paper pro tour, right? Since the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
So that was a big thing.
Sure.
And so they have now 4 pro tours a year plus worlds, and they're all in paper now.
Okay.
So paper play has returned, and like the road to competitive is all there are still online tournaments that lead up to the pro tour, but like the emphasis on online play is a lot smaller now than it was.
Mhm.
I think James White was his name,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
He's definitely reacting to the MPL era of Magic, where they were trying to brand Magic as an esport. They're trying to
Oh, I
compete
see.
with like Dota 2, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And they were trying to move all the tournaments online, which
Sure.
ended
Trying
up
to get some of that Hearthstone money.
yeah, exactly, right? And now that
Some of it
experiment has sort of
pandemic.
failed, and they're returning to nature of paper.
You're talking over Micah. What?
Some of it was pandemic too. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like a weird timing that may or may not have influenced, or I don't know. That was
Yeah,
part of it.
certainly, yeah. But yeah, definitely in the meantime, like Commander has become like the number one format.
Well,
Which-
Zach, I mean, this is maybe our segue because we haven't. Okay, muting Tor Uggen, sorry.
Okay.
We have.
Tor's busy ordering a Baconator.
You got to fuel the machine, man.
Yeah, we gotta
The
fuel the
Flesh and
machine,
Blood
man. He's got
podcast
pizzas
runs
to
on
deliver.
Baconators.
We haven't fully like. Is this? Can we recap your recent MTG Minneapolis con? Is that what it's MTG con Minneapolis?
Sure.
A little more. Like, can you speak to? I don't know. What is the state of live Magic in Flesh and Blood?
So I think it's doing pretty good. The convention was very well attended. I think it did sell out. Like all the weekend passes sold out. All of both of the Pro Tour qualifiers, the PTQs, they sold out. So there is interest in people like getting paper, paper play. There's an interest for all that, but that doesn't diminish the progress that like something like FAB has made.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I feel like once a month, some new former Magic player who was like big into the live tournament scene starts showing up at armories and crushing tournaments. Like, we have a guy in our local scene who like showed up literally 3 months ago, started playing the game, and he played a bunch of live Magic, but apparently was also like a pro level Gwent player and picked up
really?
Fab and has top 8s in 2 major tournaments in the past like 3 months.
Do you know the guy's name?
Dave Lynn.
Dave Lynn.
Yeah.
I know Brian Gottlieb. He was like
he's one of the like creators of the game now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He works for the company.
Yeah.
'Cause he was a long-term like Magic creator or like Magic like content creator and like pro player.
Yeah.
He's got like a podcast continues to be like pretty popular, like kind of like constructed podcast.
Yeah, he's the like number 2 designer of Flesh and Blood now.
Yeah, but it's so funny that he's got like a Magic podcast, and he's like, if you listen to it now, like on this podcast, he's just usually like, yeah, I don't really follow Magic much anymore because I'm working on Flesh and Blood, but you go off, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
there was actually like, do you guys are you guys aware of this Jeff Hoogland person?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you aware of like the controversy that he sparked off about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago?
No, well, I'm pretty much fully off of Magic Twitter now.
Oh, nice.
As Zach knows, but I know that the Hoogland, he was also controversial on Magic Twitter.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, but
he had like a big flame out of Magic Twitter, and he like publicly quits Magic.
So is he now in the Fab space?
Well, I know he's a big Marvel Snap guy now. No, he hates Flesh and Blood.
Interesting.
He got in. So there was a big thing where someone put out a video talking about various TCGs and like the cost to make a competitive deck per TCG. And Hoogland sort of made the least generous interpretation to those numbers and called Flesh and Blood a loot box first, game second.
Wow.
Which resulted in Brian Gottlieb posting on Twitter for him to go fuck himself.
Wow. So he's being driven off from every corner of the.
I mean, he
niche
seems like a
culture.
very not likable guy at all.
Yeah.
He really pulled a Zach there, where he he basically like stuck his nose into something where he didn't have any real knowledge and made a sweeping generalization.
Well, and it's so funny because like he was so I'm not mad online that he went through and blocked, as far as people can tell, literally anyone that made any reference to Flesh and Blood in their Twitter bio or like followed any Flesh and Blood content creator. Like the one of the most insane blocking sprees I think I've ever seen.
Well, this is like the lore of Jeff Hoogland, which is that he like will block like a stiff breeze. Like that's his like. I mean, that's how he curates his online media. But it leads to this kind of weird badge of honor among some people.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I've been blocked by Jeff Hoogland or whatever. So yeah, I've not yet been blocked by Jeff Hoogland, but maybe one day Daddy will shine his light upon me. But like obviously the reason why his statement is kind of nonsense is like you could sell your Flesh and Blood collection, right? Like if you want to stop playing, you can sell your collection for real cash and cash out of the game that way. If you have dropped like $50 like on Marvel Snap, I mean they just have your money
and cash out,
and maybe you enjoyed spending that money, but
it is very
can
funny
you cash out
when the game that you're sort of shoving down people's throats is like a digital card game with no permanency to it whatsoever?
Yeah,
and like
no, I was gonna say I was a proud free-to-play Snap player, but I'm out of the game. I don't know. I'm sorry, Zach.
It's okay. I'm trying to get out too. I just want to hit infinite one time, and then I'll be satisfied. But I also don't want to spend more money. I only spent $15. So
are people still playing Legends of Runeterra?
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sure.
people are.
I'm sure
that was a fun game. I liked that game.
How does that system work? Because I never played it.
I mean, it felt very much. Me and my friend Alex got really into it, and it felt like a combination of Hearthstone, like a middle point between Hearthstone and Artifact. It is still very much like hero centric. But you have I haven't played it in so long. I can't do an overview of like the mechanics of it right now. But I had a very fun time. Like it is a good game, but also I don't know, like especially being back and playing a paper TCG again really shines a light on like how stupid digital trading card games are and like what an absolute money sink for no reason.
Yeah, I mean it depends on what you want, you know. I will say that like certainly Fab's approach of like building communities has been really successful.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out I went down, was it like Tuesday night?
Yep.
To Action City Comics in Brooklyn. And they had a small collection of people doing Flesh and Blood draft.
I think we had 14 people, something like that. Wow. Yeah.
So like more than a full pod. I guess yeah. I'm kind of underselling it. But it's a small store, so we're all like snuggled up, and everyone was super welcoming, super knowledgeable, and like honestly, like I don't know, it's really hard when you're like going to like a store for the first time, playing a game for a first time. It's very easy to feel like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm overwhelmed, and I did feel that way. But like these are some of the most welcoming people.
And that's how I did feel.
How much you get tipped that time, Tor?
Really well. She gave me it was like $12. She gave me 20.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh shit! Yeah. Hell yeah! We're on
yeah,
run,
dude, she was British too, for some reason. I don't know. Wait, Zach, I want to take umbrage with something you said. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Are you listening? Okay.
I'm listening.
So you said somebody blocks like a stiff breeze. What the hell is a stiff breeze block? It's not blocking shit, man. You gotta get your metaphors down a little better. Or is that a
I was
sip?
just gonna let it go, but that also sounded strange to me as well.
Well,
Also,
he
can
doesn't
I
block
just
like a
vent to you?
stiff breeze. A stiff breeze will cause him to block someone. That's just like how
Oh, okay.
sensitive.
I see. At the stiff. Wait, can I just vent for a second?
Yeah,
Um,
please.
Of
we keep
course,
getting
Tor.
shipped. We keep getting shipped bags, for like sodas and stuff. But the bags that we get shipped, they don't have any handles on. They don't. So I had to hand off these things like it's like one of those old timey money bags to people. It's so weird. Fucking fix your shit, Domino. How do you
Would
fucking
you say it really grinds your gears, Tor?
yeah grinds my gears like a stiff breeze?
Like a stiff breeze.
Oh god. So that's one thing that you need to like get used to when you're like in the Flesh and Blood world is that like they have a lot of the same stuff as Magic, but they call them different things, right? Like armories, that's just fighting at Magic,
I
right?
appreciate how desperately Zach is trying to keep us on one topic.
Well, this is all I know, but I'm just following my programming. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna continue by
I just
selected notes.
I want this to turn into Tor just bringing the phone with him as he's making stops and having
Can we
let's see what the
next
people
drop
think.
off?
I want to be the
If I get a real shitty one, maybe. I don't know.
Tor, I will give you $10 if you bring the phone with you and ask someone you're delivering pizzas to a question about Magic the Gathering.
Jesus Christ.
No,
Oh,
we can't.
God.
We can't.
I'll think about it.
Okay. The
Because
wager
it'll have
has
to be like a
dropped.
shithead customer that I hate. If I get one of those, I got a list.
Do you have a list so you know some people? They're like regulars.
Well, like I know who tips really well, so I'll try to like grab those runs. Like you get to know addresses and stuff. But you also like there's a dude who pre-tipped me a penny before, and like I'll never forget him. I'm going to like kill him. I'm gonna find him. He moved away, but I'll find him.
What is like the threshold where you're like, okay, this person's a good tipper, like percentage wise?
I mean, it depends. Like if it's like a college student, they give you like more than $1. I'm like, hell yeah. If it's like an adult, like it really like I try to factor in like socioeconomic status.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's like if it's like a trailer park, it is what it is. But like if like you give me more than $1, like if it's just $1, I'm not gonna be happy about it. But like I can't like hate you for it. Like, but like $5 is like.
Tor, let me ask like the question I'm really asking. If I religiously press the 20% button on tips, am I an asshole, or do I need to be tipping more than that?
No, 20% is fucking great. I will never complain about 20%.
That's the interesting thing though, because like nowadays, like on the little like print of the tipping screen, right?
What is this gripe that you're gonna trot out, Zach?
What?
What?
What is this gripe you're gonna trot out, Zach?
Well,
we're really
some places they'll do 15, 20, and then like 22, something like that.
Yeah,
but I've seen ones where they start at 18. They start at 18, then 20, and they go up to 30, right?
Yeah, just hit 20.
Yeah, but it like you're trying to like anchor me higher. Like, come on, bro.
I like this real point counterpoint take on tipping culture that we're doing here.
It's like it's so fucking weird. Like there'll be like guys like come up to you and be like, oh, I hope like if you take a big order somewhere and you're like waiting in the lobby, people will be like, oh, I hope they tipped you all right. And I'm like, yeah, they tipped me really nice. It's like then they just like go like, you know what I hate? When people do mandatory tipping. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks, I guess. I'm just having this conversation with you. Please, God, let these people come to pick up their food. But it's just like that is the only thing people make small talk with you when you're like wearing the uniform. You're like waiting somewhere. I have had so many conversations about tips. It's insane. All right, I gotta run into the store real quick.
Okay. So
okay.
This happened to me. Okay. Kamarchuk. This happens at like a lot of different delis, but like Kamarchuk's, right? It's a deli in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go in and you buy sausages from them, they'll give you the tip screen.
Okay,
Like,
yes,
you
this
just
is
wrapped up
something I want to
sausages
talk
for me.
about. It's like if you're picking up, like you order out or pick up, or like that scenario that Zach just brought up. What are the ethics there? Where it's
Well, I
like,
feel like if you're ordering food that was made for you, like you're getting
Mhm.
takeout, I feel like you still got a tip.
yeah, I do tip in that scenario. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you go to a store and you're kind of just purchasing something, and there's no kind of
Yeah. Like I got in a situation earlier this week where I went to a bagel shop. People are getting bagel sandwiches and
You got
whatever.
into a bagel
I
situation.
got a bagel situation where I
this sounds
ordered.
like a tipping situation.
Yeah, it is a tipping situation because I ordered.
It's a bagel tipping situation.
Yeah.
I just ordered bagels, so I'm not getting a sandwich. I'm not getting it toasted or whatever. I'm just ordering
No.
like 6
Okay.
bagels, right?
Okay.
And of course, I get the tip in
Are
screen.
you getting them sliced or not
They're
sliced?
not sliced. They're just putting them in a
So
bag.
yeah, but the act of putting it in the bag,
The
you know.
act of
You
putting it in
know,
the bag.
a wise man once said, "From each according to their ability, to each according to their need." It sounds like you got a lot of ability here, Zach,
Mhm.
and should be giving to people
Yes.
according to their need.
I'm just saying. Did I give a tip? Yes. Was it 10%? Might have been.
Wow.
Wow, I've never hit the 10% tip button in my life.
Do you think there's a special level of heaven for you?
And frankly, Zach, as a fellow person with some amount of Jewish ethnicity, I feel like you're setting a bad stereotype for us and making an entire subset of a culture look bad and reinforcing a stereotype that I don't care for.
I'm just gonna say that in New York, I'm not the person who's moving the needle on Jewish stinginess. Maybe
yeah,
in
Zach, how
Minneapolis, that's something that can happen.
Zach, can we use that as a means? How's the trip going?
It's been great. Today I donate. So in my uncle's will. So I'm in New York.
How many times have you nutted since you've been here?
Tell the truth, Nina. Nina, close your ears. Nina, mute this.
Do I have to say this?
I mean, I don't know. We're close. We're on the precipice. You're
Like maybe. Well, actually,
maybe. What?
I had a day where I was kind of going crazy. I think. When I finally got into my cousin's apartment and I could just close the door and have some time by myself.
Oh, sure, you got that cousin
No.
energy going.
Yeah.
I see.
Wait. Oh, in your okay. I thought I was for a second. I thought you meant your deceased uncle's apartment when you got in.
No.
Okay.
I'm staying with my cousin in the Upper East Side, so I had a private space, and
I just need to make sure Tor has context. Tor, we're talking about how many times Zach has nutted since he's been in New York.
well, I love my roast chestnuts. You can find them at any
Okay.
corner in the city.
What is he dodging the question?
He said he went a little crazy in his cousin's apartment.
Yeah, the one night.
Okay.
It's been normal since
Wait,
then.
so,
The one night.
no, you need to set baseline for him. What's normal and not normal? What's going crazy?
Would you say you went a little nutty in your cousin's apartment?
I went a little nutty. I got into the Nutter Butters, I think.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right. Well, that's
Let's just
you're-
say let's just say that Pinkberry is not the only one dispensing soft serve.
oh my God, Zach. Okay. Well,
You
you're
won't give us a
wrapping up-
number, you coward.
What?
Tor, you're also frozen, so your video's frozen, but
It's really
It's pretty good.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, like maybe solid half a dozen.
Oh, you did. He answered the question, folks. All right, let's go.
Okay, that might be a kind of conservative count, though.
This is not bagels. We're not talking bagels right now.
Moving along. We're not talking cream cheese.
Making a
talking
baker's
about
dozen?
all the times Zach jerked his dick all the way off.
I do have to do the laundry at my cousin's apartment. I need to hide the evidence. This is voice talk. This is bad. All right.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Uno reverse. How many times have you jerked your little dicks off?
I'm not on trial here.
Yeah, we're not in New York with you, Zach.
Okay.
Well, how is
so,
your uncle's estate going?
You could have just heard the question and barreled past it. You decided to answer.
So okay, you have to understand. All right. I had privacy. I had a room of one's own, right? Virginia Woolf.
Zach, I am begging you to dig up.
So okay, today we sold my uncle's records. I'm in New York because my uncle, his apartment has been opened by.
Is a really good place to jerk off.
Just you and the cockroaches.
Oh my god. Well, we are throwing a lot of stuff out, so.
Tor, I don't know a lot, but I know there definitely shouldn't be roaches coming out of it.
Oh god. Okay, so I sold his records today. We made actually. I was really surprised. I made $140.
Damn.
Selling records.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
What record did he have?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, so he had two boxes of 45s, and apparently 45s are not really worth that much because not many people have like the players, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But then he had like a bunch of like cassette tapes and then a stack of LPs. And so it wasn't like, I don't think there was much there that was like really valuable, but there's just a lot of volume. And they were like, sure, I guess we'll give you 140 for it. Actually, they wanted to give me 120, and they were like, but there's like, we're going to pass on all of these LPs. And I was like, can you just recycle them? And they're like, oh, I guess we'll pay you $20 for them.
Every time I hear, and this has been the case for years, every time I hear someone talk about a stack of LPs, I just imagine in my head a stack of the white guy from Run the Jewels. It's just a good, fun little time for.
Yeah.
I wondered where you were going with that.
Just a fun little thing you can do at home to pass the time.
Yeah, if you want to Photoshop that, just get a bunch of LP stacks. Is it LP or EP?
Wait, which?
The guy.
The guy is LP.
The guy's LP. Okay. Fine.
It's spelled ELP. Why do I fucking know that? I've never heard a single one of their songs.
Wait, you haven't?
No, I mean, I think I heard their big hit when it first came out. Like, I don't listen to hip hop, so like, it's just weird that
Tor, I guarantee you, nobody would expect you in any context ever to have ever listened to a Run the Jewel song. I promise you.
It's not that I don't consider rap like bad. It's like not what I listen to.
Sure.
I got my guy.
Tor's got his guys.
What are those guys who's just like a big hip hop head? I don't know.
Tor's a big Danny Brown guy.
Yeah.
Who's Danny Brown? Is he somebody like, is he like guy that like stormed the Capitol?
No, he's not the guy who stormed the Capitol.
Okay. Oh wait, he's the Da Vinci Code guy, right? Who's Danny Brown?
He's a rapper, Tor. Or he's a rapper.
Danny Brown, also part Filipino.
This should be the podcast from now on, just asking Tor questions about pop culture artifacts.
Honestly, it's pretty good. Hey, Tor, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What HBO, like very popular HBO show, is at time of recording having its last episode release?
Tor knows this because he's on Twitter.
At the time of recording, having a last episode?
Yes. So the day we're recording this is Sunday the 28th.
Zach, you phrased that in the weirdest way possible. There's a show on HBO that's having its final episode ever tonight. What is the name of that show?
It's the biggest show on HBO.
Is it the one with Johnny Depp's daughter where she gets like kissed on?
No. That show hasn't been released.
It is. You nailed it.
I don't think so.
You nutted that one right out of the park.
That's all. That's like I hear. Wait. Okay, HBO.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to think of ones that I wouldn't know. Euphoria.
2040 is on HBO, right?
It is
It
on
is, yeah.
HBO. It is
I'm
not
actually
currently airing.
surprised Tor, this I thought this was like the most Twitter brain show ever. So just by the fact of
Okay.
you being on Twitter, I would have thought you would have known.
Well, I did just see a commercial for like a show about like a podcast that has like Will Arnett and fucking the other guy from Arrested Development who
You're
looks.
getting warmer.
Well, hold on.
Will Arnett is connected to this?
No.
I was like blown away because I was like, what podcast is? Why are they making a documentary about a podcast?
Here's a fun fact about me. Here's a stereotype I reinforce about my culture. I like to lie.
God.
Okay,
Right.
sorry. I'm trying to track down a house.
This was I want our audience to like Sitrick. Micah, you should know that Sitrick has a very nice adopted dog.
Oh, wonderful.
His name is Hobbs.
That is correct.
A very sweet dog.
He was rescued from a Korean meat farm.
Like literally.
Really?
Yeah, they were going
All
to
right,
turn
Tor,
him into
Tor, I'm
chop.
gonna mute you. Just
Yeah, please do. I'm trying to find something.
okay. Well, when
the
I
reason
see
why I
your
bring this up,
back,
Micah is like a serial dog. I could say something
Foster.
worse here as a joke, but no, he's a dog. What's the term? Not rescuer, but fosterer.
Oh,
Foster.
sure, yes.
He's a fosterer.
Yeah.
but I'm getting out of the game. I'm
It
at
seems
my
emotionally taxing.
it's very emotionally taxing and just taxing in general. And it's normally volunteer.
Mhm.
I am so curious how, or it's just one of those insane spaces. I think like it's obviously good work, and I'm happy that we can. That's not why we got into it. I'll just say that, or like
Yeah.
we just wanted to hang out with cute dogs.
hmm
It's kind of an insane space, and it's like I have no idea how our rescue operates and like affords to do anything, and basically is just propped up by volunteer work.
Yeah,
the,
the rescue I got my dog from. My girlfriend fostered for a long time, and then we both did adoption interviews for a while, and the amount, like, you really learn very quickly that, like, when they find someone that will say yes to their requests, they will ask over and over and over again,
Yes.
and more from.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. We started fostering during the we're now just, this is no humor in this, but we fostered
Dog
during
talk.
the dog talk, folks. During the pandemic, we started with puppies, and so like 3 years, and we fostered like 10 dogs,
Mhm.
like anywhere from
Wow.
like 3 weeks to like 4 months
Mhm.
since then. And this last dog, we love her to death. She's such a sweet angel, but she completely broke us. She was deaf. She had like another lingering hip issue,
Oh no.
and then this like rare genetic eye deformity, and they had to do surgery on her eye. Luckily, it's all fixed.
Yeah.
She's a sweet, resilient little angel. But we had her when she was like recovering from her surgery. She had a cone on.
hmm
She was on meds. We had to like be super diligent, and she just broke us. And we
Yeah.
just like we're done, foster or
Like-
rescue. Like, I'm sorry. Please take her back.
You fostered the real life equivalent of Lil Brother from Homestar Runner.
Yes. Yes.
She's so
Exactly.
inspiring.
I
Exactly.
just
Like
got to pet
wobbly wheel
Labradoodle.
leg.
I don't know if Homestar Runner is a cultural reference people get anymore.
I think
I still see it pop up every now and again. I just got to pet a Labradoodle just now.
okay. How'd the tip
Nice.
go on this one, Tor?
Actually, insanely good. It was like $15.
Wow, we're on a
Ooh,
run,
okay.
folks. We're on
Yeah,
That's
a
like the
run.
top of the leaderboard right now.
That's how we
This kid,
do
this
it.
kid handed me a 50 and it was like $36. I was like, you need change? It's like, no, you can keep it. I was like, Sweet.
You guys should do a thing where like where the audience like okay, you live stream the show and then the audience can bet like an over under on how much Tor receives in tips during the show.
That would
It's
be
nice little interactivity thing. You
do
can
like
take a
that.
rake from the bets.
There you go.
I do
And
like that.
we can integrate into FanDuel. You know, we can
Well,
get
I'm
like we can get a tech sponsorship. The biggest thing right now.
Yeah, we have some degenerate listeners, so that could work.
Yeah, we can do parlays.
Guys, I'm gonna show you. This is one of my favorite stretches of road.
And we're looking at his visor.
Sorry, actually.
Oh, that's nice,
at the lake.
Tor.
Oh, hey.
It's a lake.
Which lake is this, Tor?
It's maybe Josephine. No, yeah, it's Lake Josephine.
Nice.
Joseph, where?
Nice,
wait,
Tor.
what part of the metro are you in right now?
St. Paul.
I am in the glorious suburbs, my friend.
Which suburb?
North, near Roseville.
Roseville. Okay, gotcha.
God's country.
I am in God's country. I will defend the suburbs. I love it. It's more calming than the city. There is community. It's not all like Satan worshiping, like wasps. I guess that's kind of a contradictory statement, oxymoron.
Yeah,
But
Satan worshippers would be kind of cool.
Isn't it weird that like people out here in New York refer to like Long Island as the suburbs?
I mean, it is.
It just feels
It
weird
is.
to think of Long Island as suburbs. I don't know why.
Why?
Why?
Because it's just like, well, Long Island feels way more denser than like the suburbs and like
Do you think of Long Island as New York City?
I guess kind of like it's like the New York City DLC.
wait, so
That's what
Zach,
a
have you ever
suburb
been
is.
to Long Island?
Like once for my cousin's wedding. It's basically
Is
a
this
Okay,
the same
well, it's a
cousin?
pretty big place.
It's
It's a
huge,
pretty
right?
big place. It has like metro areas of its own. Yeah.
It's got like cities.
Yeah. And if you go out far enough, you get the Hamptons.
Oh, that's where the Hamptons are?
Yes, Zach. That's where the Hamptons are.
I thought
Wait,
they
are
were,
you
like, in
kidding me?
mountains.
No.
What
They
did you
would-
think the
that would be the
Hamptons were?
Oh.
Is that suburban enough?
I'm
for
a
you, Meg?
neophyte to Flesh and Blood. I'm a neophyte to New York.
I mean, it's fine. You're just making our entire shared culture look bad, but that's fine.
Our culture is more than New York. There's also the beautiful state of Israel.
Oh, and a Zionist too. Oh man, this is a problem.
Okay,
So
so
come out. Next thing you know, Zach's gonna come out being really excited that Erdogan won re-election today.
Oh, I have a tangent. I have something.
no,
Speaking
we
of
do not
New
like
York.
Erdogan. Nina, and all my Armenian brothers and sisters. We do not
Shout
like
out
Erdogan.
Armenian. Speaking of New York, I have a voicemail, and I'm Sitrick. I'm like contractually obligated to play a certain amount of listener voicemails, or
Sure.
I will be executed. So let me get this going. Somehow. Wait, here we go. Look at that. And then we do this thing. All right. I have not checked this out at all. I'm playing it blind. Okay.
Mike,
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Jackie boy, it's me again.
Yeah, he does do Twitch streaming.
Mad
this
dog.
is- yeah.
I
You
saw
got a
on
good-
your
you got a good
Twitter
Twitch
that
streaming
you were in
background.
New York for what I can only assume is to interview for a job at my law firm. I was afraid I missed your call. See, my hearing isn't what it used to be. My doctor told me I was going deaf, and that news was hard for me to hear. Anyway, Zachy boy, the job is yours. No interview required. See, I know you won't require needless praise like other youngins. Why, just the other day, my grandson showed me the phone he made with 2 tin cans and some string. I told him, son, you can do better. And I showed him my iPhone and said, just look what kids your age are making in China.
This is a very
Then the
inconsistent
little
accent.
pipsqueak started to cry. See, Zachy boy, I need people like you working for me who won't cry when old Mad Dog tells them just how it is. Well, I've got my hearing aids now, and I've got my phone set to vibrate and tucked deep, deep in my front pocket. Call me.
It's cool how that
Well-
accent vacillates between like deep Bayou South
Yes.
and like St. Paul.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
don't read too much into that.
Yeah, let's not psychoanalyze too much.
So Mad Dog is a lawyer, a friend of my family who I met at my cousin's wedding 2 years ago in 2021. The last time I was out in Long Island.
How many times did you nut in his apartment?
Oh God.
Is this
I
the
was never
same
in
cousin
Mad
or a
Dog's
different
office.
cousin? Or Mad Dog? Yeah.
Yeah, I was never in Mad Dog's office, but given the
Okay.
opportunity, I won't never say never,
Sure.
But yeah, do you think Mad Dog's still alive? That's a good question.
Like the real Mad Dog?
Yeah, the real Mad Dog. I mean,
I
that
mean,
was the real Mad Dog. I mean,
Yeah,
but he
right,
might have
right.
recorded
I'm
that
sorry.
like before he died.
Yeah.
'Cause
That
it's
could
pretty
be from
ancient when
beyond.
I talked to him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you were the one that met him in person.
Yes.
He was in his 80s?
He looked really old. I forget
Uh-huh.
what he had. He was talking. Here's the thing. This is a guy who's like talking to me at the wedding. Music's playing super loud. He's talking to me for 45 minutes. I hear not a word, right?
Sure.
But he's just in my ear talking, and I'm like nodding. And apparently,
That's a long time to listen to an accent that fades in and out that hard.
yeah, exactly. I think I just kind of like
I would be very distracted.
it was
but-
all white noise at a certain point. But apparently he offered me some job opportunity, which he gave me his number, and I never.
Was it nutting in your cousin's apartment? Are you getting paid to do that?
Well,
Wow.
would you say that maybe I do have an OnlyFans?
Ooh. We got to bring in some sort of
Okay.
revenue, Zach.
I have had some uncomfortable DMs.
I wanted to,
last
yes.
week.
Related to New York, related to OnlyFans. Zach,
Well,
your
yeah, well, related to,
virality.
like Twitter. 'Cause,
We discussed this at the end of last ep.
yeah, I had to block
I
a
mean,
guy. I finally had to block one of them.
I would send you some uncomfortable DMs if you came out publicly supporting Erdogan.
I do not support Erdogan. Okay, let's get it back on hand. Sitrick, do you want to describe?
Wait, no, you got to talk about weird Twitter DMs first, and then we'll go back to.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, there's this guy. There's this guy who was like DMing me. He like runs some like sleep fetish account, and he kept on
Oh,
like
hell
putting me in
yeah.
a group chat and sending me weird things. I put like some Instagram story where I had like a barrel of shrimp, and I was like, "Ooh, yummy, stinky."
Mhm.
And then he responded to it, and he was like, "I want your yummy, stinky, daddy." And then I was like, "I gotta block this guy."
I mean, all other things aside, the idea that anyone could see an image of you and be like, "That's daddy," is very funny to
Yeah,
me.
that's the mustache
You
is
are,
doing
like,
weird things to people.
It was you're. I look at you and go, "That's nephew." Like that is.
Wait, I've never heard of this tautology. What is that? Trotting out nephew the concept of nephew. I love this.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's whatever the like. I feel like nephew is the
Yes.
opposite of daddy energy.
But there's some daddy energy with the mustache. If you just zoom in on the mustache.
Yeah, it
I mean,
requires a
sure.
controlled environment to really shine.
You can't really see it on this webcam. My
Yeah.
my 0 resolution
It's
laptop.
getting lost in the
webcam.
shadow. It could just be very shadow.
Yeah, it's really.
All right, so Citric.
Mhm.
Let's talk. One thing that separates Flesh and Blood from other games.
It's just hard careening back into Topicsville. All right.
Yeah, well, we need to kind of wrap up pretty soon. But
Sure.
like equipment. Equipment is something
Yeah.
that like sets Flesh and Blood apart. Also, Flesh and Blood, best of one. Always best of one.
Ooh,
Very
I like
interesting.
that.
Yes, that is
primarily best of one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the tournaments operate very much like there are usually X number of rounds of Swiss, and then there's a cut to usually a top 8, and then it's best of one going forward from there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. It's not like lose once and you're out in most tournaments, but it is sort of when you're in the end game.
Yeah, but like in Magic, it's like typical. You sit down with your opponent, and then you'll determine who goes first, and then you're doing a best of 3 game for a number of reasons, right?
Sure.
But
Which I think speaks to a way to account for like the inherent variance of like land draws and
Sure.
things like that in Magic, correct?
Also, I think being on the play is, I think, much more of an advantage in Magic than being on the draw is, or whatever. Or there's no draw, but like
You want to go second in Fab in 90% of cases,
but it's much less of a clear-cut advantage to be going second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's not like the person who's going second is not like doesn't have like a outstanding advantage.
In which?
In Flesh and Blood.
Oh no, they have a huge advantage.
You think so?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh fuck.
Because it is the only time where you can. So one of the interesting mechanics, because the turn sequences are asymmetrical. Because the turn sequences are asymmetrical, if you're attacking first, the person you're playing against can block with cards from their hand on turn 0, they call it. And then the first turn of the game, the person going second gets to draw up after defending. It's the only time in the game that you get to do that. So you actually it's a huge advantage because you can block your person going first can throw all of this damage at you, and you can block it out with the only consequence being you have that many fewer cards in your deck. You still get to draw up and have a full 4-card hand, which is given the sort of like the margins in Flesh and Blood, that kind of advantage is often huge.
Wow.
It's big in it especially in like something like an aggro mirror. That sort of tempo can often determine a game.
Shows what I know. But then like, okay, so best of one, and like, okay, how long do games usually last?
There are, so in Classic Constructed, you have in official tournament play, you have 55 minutes to complete a round.
So this is similar to Magic.
Now, an aggro mirror is going to go very quickly, and then whereas like your control-y matchups will often go to time.
Yeah. Okay. And then circling back to the original question, which is in addition to like, okay, you have your hero. That's a thing in Flesh and Blood. You have like some kind of like characteristics coming into the game that both people know about
in a similar way to like a Hearthstone sort of thing. Although I think hero abilities are more like valuable than they are in Hearthstone, but it behaves sort of similarly.
Yeah. It is similar to Hearthstone in like deck construction. You can have like your cards that match your class, whatever. Yeah. But then you also come in with
synergies,
equipment. So yeah, describe equipment.
Equipment is permanent items that are introduced at the beginning of the game. Each piece of equipment has most pieces of equipment have some sort of defensive value, so instead of blocking with a card from hand, you can block with equipment, and that will cover, usually 1 to 2 points of value. But most equipment also has some sort of ability text on it that is either a one-time use where you use it, the effect applies and destroy it, or the more powerful equipment have effects that you can use multiple times throughout a game without it being destroyed. And
that's like
those tend to be like your legendary equipments.
That's like there's a card that's kind of has a reputation for being almost the Black Lotus of Flesh and Blood.
It's called Fjendel's Spring Tunic. Yes, it is a chess piece in the game. It is generic. It fits into many decks, and it is valuable because once every 3 turns, you get a free resource, which is huge. Being able to have a resource out of nowhere especially in like long running controlling matchups where games can take 20, 30, whatever turns. And you end up with a bunch of free resources. It sounds like we're getting the rapid up late. So yeah. But that is like it's sort of the controversy because those pieces of equipment tend to be very expensive. And people sort of don't like that because it's a high barrier of entry for competitive play. The upside of it is that you buy it once and it is reusable across multiple decks and you have it forever. And because Flesh and Blood is not a like cycling game where like cards come in and out of circulation in tournament play, you can just use that card forever. So
and another nice thing about it is like at first I was very skeptical about it too, but like just the fact that like because the equipment don't start in your deck, it's not like, oh, I'm shuffling this in. I need
you don't have
cards.
to find it. It's just there. Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I have this thing, so I can present it any game when which I want this this piece of equipment.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's kind of nice. But it's like one of the things where it's like coming in as a newbie, like I'm sure as you become more familiar with all this stuff, it's easier. But like coming in as a newbie, it's like each game starts with each player having 6 pieces of permanence on the battle, and you're like, what is all this stuff,
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. Like, I mean, sort of speaking to the larger point, like, I feel like as a new player, you're going to come in. You're probably not, especially if you're starting to learn how to play at like the local competitive scene, you're probably not going to win a game for like a month or two.
That's what everyone told me.
Yeah, which is because like you have to learn what your deck does. You have to learn what your opponent's deck does. And you have 4 opponents every time you go play. So there's a lot that you have to sort of get a sense of and find the flow of. And because it's a game that reduces variance and where the platonic ideal is that the best player wins every game, you're not going to be very good when you start out. And so you have to sort of which is another sort of one of those things going back to the fighting game thing, where fighting games work very much the same way, where you start playing fighting games, you're going to be pretty bad at them at the beginning. And you're going to have to like learn, what your character is trying to do and how to have success with that. And that takes a lot of losing to sort of figure that out.
Flesh and Blood isn't like jerking off at your cousin's apartment.
It's true. There's no immediate payoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't.
But maybe there's some sort of cathartic release.
I think it's something that you kind of like feel like you earn. I don't feel like I earned
like edging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, you guys can keep just going.
Before we go, do you guys have any curiosity in this game? Is this something that you would like to try, or?
I do. I honestly, much like fostering, Wizards of the Coast beat me down, and I'm just so burnt out from the thought of paying money for pieces of cardboard.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, and I mean the thing, like my understanding, again, I've never been a huge Magic player, but the nice thing that players of Flesh and Blood talk about, for as much as people bitch about the cost of entry, like it is very nice knowing that if you put together a deck and you make that investment, that because it's a non-rotating format, the cards that you invest in will likely still have, at the very least, close to their value that you invested into them, basically as long as you use them. Like, the cards hold their value very well. And my understanding is that Magic is very much like you can toss a lot of money into a standard competitive deck, and then like the format rotates, and all these cards are fucking worthless now.
Yeah. Even beyond value, like just socially, like bringing in Commander, which is a social format, like Commander ostensibly was made so that you could just have a deck and just run with it.
Yep.
But even the Commander format, there's so much product now and it moves so fast, and the culture around it is like, even your Commander decks are like outdated in like 3 or 6 months. And I'm just like, what do you so I'm definitely, if this hit me 2 years ago or even a year ago, I would be, maybe I'll come out of this funk. But it's super cool. Thank you for sharing with us.
Needs to you need to go through that.
Look, anybody, there's a online site where you can play with whatever cards you want for free. Anybody trying to try playing some Fab, let me know. I'm always happy to play to shepherd someone into the game.
And
yeah.
the community out here is super supportive, and I just want to shout them out again. Action Comics,
Action City Comics in Greenpoint.
Thank you, David Sitrick. Fan of the show, wonderful. Thank you, Tor. Thank you for everyone who tipped Tor.
I may have just gotten stiffed on $100 order.
Okay, so we broke the streak.
I'm debating whether or not to read their name and address and contact information out.
Okay, well, on 3, you'll read it. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know if they haven't tipped yet, but it's looking very unlikely.
Look forward to the
I want to show you the plates. One of the plates I hate the most.
Where we hunt and kill the guy that Tor just delivered pizza to.
Next time on I Love You Mon. All right. Love you all.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Bye.